How the Kaaba was built. This hadith is narrated on the authority of Hazrat Ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhu. He heard the following incident from the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Women first learned how to make a girdle from Ismail's mother. Hajar, alayhi salam, used to wear a girdle to hide her status from Sarah, alayhi salam. Hazrat Ibrahim, alayhi salam, went out with Hajar, alayhi salam, while giving milk to the infant Ismail, alayhi salam. Ibrahim, alayhi salam, placed them both under a large tree located above the well of Zamzam in the upper part of the mosque near the Kaaba. At that time there were no people or water supply in Mecca. Ibrahim, alayhi salam, left them there with some dates in a bag and some water in a musk and went back. The mother of Ismail, alayhi salam, came back and said repeatedly, "O Ibrahim, where are you going? You are leaving us in a field where there is no helper or system." Ibrahim, alayhi salam, did not look at him. Hajira, alayhi salam, said to him, "Did Allah give you this order?" He said yes. Hajar, alayhi salam, said, "Then Allah will not destroy us." He came back. Ibrahim, alayhi salam, also moved forward. On reaching the bend of the pass, when he could no longer see his wife and children, he stood facing the Kaaba and raised his hands and prayed, "O my Allah, some of my family in a barren valley near your honorable house, to express your gratitude." Ismail's mother used to breastfeed Ismail, and he himself used to drink water from that mashak. The water of mashak ran out at one point. He and his infant son became thirsty. He looked at the child. His chest is pounding with thirst. It became unbearable to see the pathetic condition of the infant son. He moved away. Safa was the nearest mountain to him. He climbed over it and looked out over the field. He looked around to see if anyone could be seen anywhere. He did not see anyone. Descending from Mount Safa, he reached the plain below. He picked up one end of the cloth and ran like a tired man. After crossing the Maidan, he came up on the hill of Marwa. He looked around again to see if he could find anyone. He did not see anyone. Thus he ran 7 times. Ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhu, narrates that the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "That is why people sit between these 2 mountains." When he had climbed the Marwa hill he heard a sound. "Wait a minute," he said to himself. He listened attentively. He heard and said, "You have heard your voice. Do you have any helpers?" Immediately he saw an angel near Zamzam well. The angel struck with his heel, or wing. Water started coming out of it. Hajar, alayhi salam, tied his hands around her like a calf and started filling her mouth with water. The water was overflowing. Ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhu, said that the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "May Allah have mercy on Ismail's mother. If he had released Zamzam without damming it, or," he said, "if he had filled the water with chains and collected the water in mush, then Zamzam would have turned into a gushing spring instead of a well," Rabbi said. Then Hajar, alayhi salam, drank water herself, and gave milk to the infant son as well. The angel then said to him, "Do not fear destruction, because this is the house of God. This child and his father will build a house here. Allah never destroys his people." The place of God's house was as high as a hill above the ground. As the flood came, it was breaking left and right. Hajira, alayhi salam, was living like this. Once a group of people from the tribe of Juram were passing by them, or, says Rabbi, some people from the family of Juram were coming here by way of a high land called Kaaba. At Mecca they came down to the lowlands. They saw a flock of birds flying in circles. They said, "Surely these birds are flying over the water. We have passed this way of Maidan many times, but there was never water here." They sent a couple of people there. They went and saw water. He came back and informed everyone about the water. Hearing the news, everyone moved towards it. Rabbi said, "Ismail's mother was near the water." They said to him, "We want to live near you. What will allow?" He said, "Yes. But you will have no right over this water." They expressed their opinion by saying, "Yes." Ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhu, said that the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "This incident gave Ismail's mother an opportunity. He also wanted human companionship." They settled there. When news was sent to the family, they also came and lived with them. Later some of their families also came and settled. At this time, Ismail reached adulthood. He learned Arabic from them. As he reached his youth, he became very attractive and beloved to them. When he attained full manhood, they married one of their own daughters to him. In between, Ismail's mother Hajira, alayhis salam, passed away. After Ismail's marriage, Ibrahim, alayhis salam, came to see the condition of his abandoned family, but did not find Ismail. He asked his wife about him. The wife said, "He has gone out in search of our livelihood." He asked the daughter-in-law about their lifestyle and condition. He said, "We are in dire straits, in dire straits and in dire straits." He complained to Ibrahim, alayhis salam, about their plight. He said, "When your husband comes home, give him my greetings and tell him to change the door frame of his house." Ismail, alayhis salam, came back home and got a glimpse. He asked his wife, "Did anyone come to you?" Wife said yes. "An old man of such and such shape came. Asked me about you, I gave him your news. He asked about our lifestyle. I said, we are in a lot of trouble and need." Ismail, alayhis salam, asked, "Did he give you any advice?" Wife said yes. "He has ordered me to convey his greetings to you. He also said that you change the door frame of the house." Ismail, alayhis salam, said, "He is my father. By these words he instructed me to separate you. So you go to your own people." Saying this, Ismail, alayhis salam, divorced him. After that he married another girl from among those people. As long as Allah willed, Ibrahim, alayhis salam, stayed away from them. After that he came to see them again. This time too he did not meet Ismail, alayhis salam. He came to his daughter-in-law and asked her about Ismail, alayhis salam. He said he went out to look for our food. Ibrahim, alayhis salam, asked, "How are you?" He asked about their living conditions and conditions. He said, "We are in a good and prosperous condition." He also praised Allah. Ibrahim, alayhis salam, asked, "What is your main food?" He said, "Meat." He asked again, "What is your drink?" He said, "Water." Ibrahim, alayhis salam, prayed and said, "O Allah, bless their meat and water." The Prophet, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, said, "At that time they did not produce food grains there. If it was, then Ibrahim, alayhis salam, would have prayed for them in that regard as well." The narrator says that no one can subsist on meat and water except in Makkah, because only meat and water cannot be conducive to life. Ibrahim, alayhis salam, said, "When your husband returns, greet him and order him from me to fix the door frame of his house." When Ishmael, alayhis salam, came back and said, "Did anyone come to you?" He said, "Yes. A handsome old man came. He complimented him and said, 'He asked me about you.' I told him about you. He asked me about our lifestyle. I told him we are fine." Ismail, alayhis salam, said, "Has he ordered you for anything else?" He said, "Yes. He greets you and instructs you to keep the framework of your house in order." Ismail, alayhis salam, said, "He is my father. You are the door frame of my house. By these words he instructed me to keep you as my wife, as long as Allah willed." Ibrahim, alayhis salam, stayed away from them. He came again. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Ismail, alayhis salam, repairing an arrow sitting under a big tree near Zamzam well. Seeing his father, he got up and walked towards him. They did as father and son meet. Ibrahim, alayhis salam, said, "O Ishmael, Allah has given me a task." Ismail said, "Do what your Lord has commanded you." Ibrahim, alayhis salam, said, "Will you help me?" Ismail said, "I will do it." Ibrahim, alayhis salam, said, "Allah has ordered me to build a house here." With this he pointed to the high mound. After encircling it, they both started to raise the wall of the Kaaba. Ishmael, alayhis salam, used to bring stones and Ibrahim, alayhis salam, used to build. When the wall was raised, Ishmael, known as Ibrahim in Makkah, brought the stone and placed it in place for Ibrahim, alayhis salam. Ibrahim, alayhis salam, stood on it and started building. Ismail, alayhis salam, continued to supply him with stones. Both of them continued to pray, "O our Lord, accept from us. Surely you hear and know everything." Both of them started building the Kaaba again and went around the Kaaba saying this supplication, "O our Lord, accept from us. Surely you hear and know everything." Al-Baqarah 127, Sahih Bukhari, Hadith 3364.